This is Dale Buchanan, the host of today's podcast. If you've ever wanted to become a full-time professional dog trainer, now's your chance. You need to check out my new book, The Business of Dog Training: How to Make $100,000 a Year as a Mobile Dog Trainer. It's available right now on Kindle ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. The Business of Dog Training, now available on Amazon. See the link in the show notes. I'm Dale Buchanan, and this is Puppy Talk, the podcast that offers free advice and tips for raising a happy, healthy, and obedient puppy. For more information on this podcast, visit us online at puppytalkpodcast.com. Welcome to Puppy Talk episode number 128. I'm your host, Dale Buchanan, and today I want to talk about how to practice obedience training with your puppy. When I work with a new client, I structure the program to work on the puppy's house manners first, their leash training skills second, and the socialization skills third. We'll spend about 3 or 4 weeks working on the house manners, about 2 or 3 weeks on leash training, and then we take it on the road and go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Hobby Lobby, Tractor Supply, and any other pet-friendly stores that we can find for the puppy to get socialization practice. Now, this may be an 8, 12, or 16-week program. The additional sessions are going to add more socialization field trips to the program. Maybe they're working on therapy dog training, or they're going to get the dog tested for AKC Canine Good Citizen. So all of that stuff's done outside of the house. It's done in public, so we have to do a lot of field trips. Oftentimes, owners will come to me near the end of the program and they'll say, "How do I get my dog to stay better at home when somebody knocks on the door?" And my answer to that always is, "We worked on that a few months ago or a few weeks ago." "Oh, well, how do I get my dog to stop barking at people when they walk by or jumping on people when they come over?" And I explained to them, we already worked on that. We did all that stuff. And then the next question I ask them is, "Did you practice?" And they always admit they did not practice, or they maybe practiced once or twice, and that was it. Practice is something you have to do with your puppy ongoing. It's not something that you can just do once, and that's it. I've done several episodes recently on the responsibility of raising a puppy. The main thing to remember is that once you take ownership of a puppy and they need obedience training, you have to practice with them. Follow the guidelines in this episode to improve your practice sessions and the predictability of your puppy's learning of the obedience skills you want them to incorporate into their life. Because if you don't practice, you're not going to get anything out of it. Nothing's going to happen. Tip number 1, daily practice is essential. Practicing once a week will not work. You have to practice consistently with your puppy starting at about 7 or 8 weeks old, and they will learn over time, but you have to keep practicing and rewarding them, because puppies are going to do more of what they're rewarded for, and they're going to do less of what they're not rewarded for. So if you want them to stay on their bed, you literally have to practice hundreds of times or even 1,000 repetitions. And if you think that's a lot, I had one client whose dog went to gun dog training in Tennessee, and they had to practice the whoa command, where the dog can't move. It has to stay still 30,000 times. So if you think a few hundred times is a lot, it's not in this context. Tip number 2 is you have to practice correctly, the way that a professional dog trainer has taught you. So if I go to somebody's house and I teach them how to teach that puppy to stay on its bed, and then they start using other methods, that's not going to work, because they're not following what it is that I taught them to do, teaching the puppy to stay first with duration, and then working on distance, and then working with distractions. The same thing always happens with the stay. The owner says, "Well, I put the puppy in a stay and I walked away and he followed me." Because you didn't follow the way that it's supposed to be done, first working on duration, standing right next to your puppy, and slowly creating distance over time, and then slowly adding distractions. This takes months and months and hundreds of repetitions to get your puppy to stay, because no puppy wants to stay. They really don't. Tip number 3 is short training sessions are way better than long training sessions. Keep the training sessions to 90 seconds to 3 minutes, and that's it. When I worked with Dixie when she was 12, 14, 16 weeks old, learning all of her foundational skills, I did 90-minute training sessions 5 times a day. And that's how she learned very quickly. I kept the training sessions very short, so she always would win at the end of the training session. She would never check out. When the puppy checks out, they lose, and you get frustrated, and nothing good happens because then the puppy stops learning. Remember, your job as the owner and to practice obedience is to teach them things you want them to do, not teach them what you want them to stop doing. It's very important to have that mindset, and I say that almost every podcast episode. Teach them what you want them to do, not what you want them to stop doing. The focus should be on what you want them to do. For example, if you have a puppy that's running to the door and jumping on people, it's not an issue of them jumping. It's an issue of them not staying on their bed. So practice them staying on their bed. You can look at professional athletes as an example of how much you should practice and how you should practice. Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan and Tom Brady, the best of the best of the best. And if you go back into the history of these athletes, they practiced a lot. Tiger Woods practiced or did weight training or did some type of workout in addition to his practice for 10 to 12 hours a day when he was not on tour. This is a fact, and you could go to any interview of his early days on YouTube and listen to how he talks about his day and how he structures his day. Michael Jordan would practice 1,000 free throws at a time. Tom Brady, the same thing. If you want your puppy to be an elite athlete, you have to practice with them. It's not optional. This is non-negotiable. You have to do the work. You have to put in the work. Practice is extremely important. And if you ever get a puppy and you work with a trainer, don't ever blame it on the trainer that your puppy didn't learn how to stop pulling on the leash or to stay on its bed or to stop chewing the furniture or anything else, because the trainer's already taught you that. You just didn't practice. So if you want your puppy to be very well behaved, you follow the guidelines from the trainer and then you practice. It's that simple. But make sure you put the time in and put the practice in with your puppy, and you will have a great puppy. I hope this information was helpful to you. If you have any questions, you can always reach me through the website, puppytalkpodcast.com.